Ohio State plays Nebraska on Saturday as it returns to the field after its second off week of the season at noon. I'm Stephen Means. That's Stefan Krajisnik. That's Andrew Gillis. And it's time to get a little wacky, some outrageous predictions. Andrew, let's start with you. Get crazy.
We all love narrative. We all love story arc. We all love a redemption story. Denzel Burke pick six. Denzel Burke is going to have a pick six against Dylan Raiola. I think Raiola is going to get baited into some stuff. He is very, very talented. I think this is a quarterback that Ohio State has to be prepared for moving forward, and the rest of the Big Ten has to be prepared for moving forward. This guy's really good, and you watch him on film, and you see the talent there. But he also is prone to some mistakes, and, obviously he's a freshman. I think Denzel Burke's going to be really motivated. I think this is a good opportunity for Ohio State to get back in kind of the rhythm, that we had seen them kind of playing with before the Oregon game, where the Ducks torched them. I mean, let's just be real. And more specifically, the Ducks torched Denzel Burke. Denzel Burke did not have a good game. I think Denzel Burke is just going to follow that redemption arc. I think he's going to get a pick six. I think we're all going to ooh and ah in the press box. I think he's going to come into the media and we're going to talk to Denzel after that. I think it's going to be this whole grand scenario and it's going to be this big thing. So today's a positive one for me. I think Denzel Burke's going to have a pick six. I'm feeling good about this one.
I think the thing is, I don't think this is the first time you've predicted that Denzel Burke was going to get a pick six. The problem is you keep doing it in weeks and then he doesn't get a pick six, and then you completely forget about him, and guess what he does against Michigan State? He gets a pick six. But also, I love that you took it to the point of, it's so outrageous that we're going to talk to him afterward. Well, I mean, he's one of the best players on the team. We might just talk to him anyway. Who knows here? Okay, I'm going to go next. This is lazy, but also it's the Ohio State way to overcorrect things after clearly they've been pointed out that this is a problem and they've had to pay for it. And then they overcorrect and we go, oh man, is the problem fixed? No, they just played a lesser opponent that allowed them to just take advantage of some things. To Andrew's point, Dylan Raiola, 6 picks this year. 3 of them were last week to Indiana. So better opponent. It seems like a freshman starts making freshman mistakes. The most he's been sacked in a game this year. He has been sacked 14 times during the season. 6 of them came against Illinois. So what does that tell me? When Dylan Raiola plays ranked opponents, he's either going to get sacked a bunch or he's going to throw some picks. And so since Andrew already took the pick, I'm going to take the sacks. Ohio State sacks Dylan Raiola 7 or more times on Saturday. And I think we see Jim Knowles get a little creative, throw some different things out there. I just think there's going to be a bit of an overcorrection. And I don't know what it's going to mean for the bigger picture for when they get on the field with Indiana and with Penn State and with Oregon. But I do just think that when you spend 2 weeks watching a game where you got no pressure, it just seems like the next logical step is to generate a billion pressures to overcorrect that issue. Because if not only is your fan base going to be going, well, what the heck have you been doing for 14 days? You're going to be like, how did we work on this for 14 days and we still can't do it? What is going on here? So Ohio State, 7 or more times they sacked Dylan Raiola on Saturday. Stefan, get wacky.
Yeah, I'm going to go on the offensive side of the ball. Nebraska's got a pretty decent defense by the numbers. I know the game against Indiana wasn't great for them, giving up 56 points, but the sample size overall this year suggests that they have a decent defense and their rush defense is decent, but their pass defense is a little bit iffy based on some of the numbers. We haven't seen Jeremiah Smith have the game yet. We've seen him be good every week and be consistently good. We haven't seen that Ryan Williams against Georgia type performance. 200 plus yards, 2 touchdowns. Jeremiah Smith goes off and kind of has that signature moment that we've kind of been looking for. It's crazy to think because you look at his numbers, you're like, man, he's right up there with some of the best receivers in the country. But you're like, he hasn't really had that massive game yet. I think that comes this week against Nebraska.
What do you think his best game is right now? Because I think you're right. He has moments in games, right? Because he keeps catching the ball with one hand and making even us in the press box go, oh my, but he doesn't have like.
For the record, I don't do that, by the way. But go ahead.
For the
record, I don't do that.
He's done it. We've all done it. If we didn't do it in the press box, we did it in the spring when he was making these types of catches. What do you think his best game is right now?
Oh, that's a tough question.
Yeah.
Because like he hasn't, like I said, he hasn't had that huge game. Honestly, I'd probably say, and the numbers probably don't back it up, but probably the Michigan State game, just because he's the one who kind of flipped the game there, right? It was still kind of, I wouldn't say in the balance, but it was tighter than maybe we expected. And then he had that drive in the late in the second quarter where he just took over and kind of changed the game. I think that's when you sometimes you see receivers just have a big night and you're like, all right, but like, well, when you're a freshman, you kind of change the game like that. But for that same reason, like I almost want to say the Oregon game too, because that drive that Will Howard underthrew a ball, he caught it, and then later he goes on and catch a touchdown. It's like game is tight. You're going back and forth. Who do you turn to? Your freshman wide receiver to take the game over. I'd probably say Michigan State, but that Oregon game's up there as well.
Yeah, I think that Michigan State game he made a play that was so impactful that it probably is that, but also 9 catches for 100 yards and a touchdown against Oregon. And so it's like, I don't know, man. He's had at least 70 yards and a touchdown in every single game so far, which is ridiculous to say. So maybe he continues this ridiculous path and doubles all of those things on Saturday. Those are our outrageous predictions for Ohio State versus Nebraska on Saturday at noon. Get the text 614-350-3315. Maybe we'll continue this conversation about what Jeremiah Smith's best game is on Buckeye Talk. So go listen to that wherever you find podcasts. But in the meantime, we'll see you on Saturday.